That's why Candace is pissed. She's repelled by most men. It happens exactly because most of men today uphold the same point of views as Harry Styles and his defenders. Masculinity is an enemy to globalization. There are a lot of guys watching my channel who are very interested in masculinity issues, and I wanted to bring up this topic because I've heard about it a couple of days ago, where a conservative American writer by the name of Candace Owens has been criticizing former member of the boy band One Direction, Harry Styles, posing in dresses. He had a photo shooting for Vogue. There was a lot of heat, which started with her tweeting out this thing: "There's no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It's an outright attack. Bring back manly men." So she tweeted out this. She got a lot of backlash, especially from the elite of Hollywood, saying that men can be whatever you want them to be. And I want to give my 2 cents on this matter. What is the reason? Does she have a point? Yes, the feminization of men has been going on for a long time. It started long before most of us were born. Small steps, one marketing campaign at a time, chipping away the conventional perception of what manhood is about. As she mentions in her message, Hollywood contributed a lot to that mission. Together with Disney, they have created this perception of manhood being a very vague concept, something that is malleable and can be defined in whatever way you wish for. Of course, not just Hollywood or Disney. They had a lot of help from other mainstream institutions. Funny enough, there's always a big jab being thrown at masculinity. The tropes like "be a man," "are you being insecure in your masculinity?" are a very common occurrence right now. But there's no criticism of femininity in any shape or form and what it represents. And I'm not complaining, I merely state the facts. And you know what? There's a reason to that, and I will get back to it later on. We are on the verge of living in a united global nation, a mashup of cultures and fast-paced communication. Candace defends masculinity because it conflicts with her identity, what she is used to, which is a sad thing because we have arrived to a point where man has to take an assistance from women in order to drive their issues. On the other hand, it happens exactly because most of men today uphold the same point of views as Harry Styles and his defenders. A man isn't defined by masculinity. A man is whatever you want it to be. Well, I would like to be an eagle, hovering above the Himalayan mountains, but unfortunately I can't do that. Neither can I be a woman, nor an Apache helicopter. Before going further, let me give you a disclaimer. Every label that we encounter is an imagination, a concept constructed by humans. As spiritual beings, there's no need for any identification, and everything is a perception. But precisely because very few people grasp these deep concepts, have a very little understanding of what life is and represents. And by the way, I am still learning myself. We need to be able to navigate through this short period of time that we have in this form. And to do that, we have to cooperate with mere mortals. When you die, an idea dies. Nothing truly happens, transcending one form to another. Anyway, I don't mean to be too philosophical. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to embrace this biology of ours in order to maximize the experience in this physical form. The reason why we talk about clear distinctions between masculinity and femininity is simple. Fornication, copulation, intercourse, procreation, sex. Masculinity and femininity are concepts that we humans have defined after doing a thorough research, of course. Those concepts comprise specific traits that make us attracted to the opposite sex. Those concepts are basis. The investigation has led us to find what works with the opposite sex, not on a cultural, rather on a basic level. The specific things that trigger arousal. Those specific sexy traits of masculinity and femininity have evolved together in symbiosis as a response to environment and different survival strategies. That's why Candace is pissed. She's repelled by most men. And her friends are disgusted by most men because they don't recognize those cues that make them drawn to men as an opposite. Harry's experiment is just a trigger, a boiling point of emotions. It's easy for Elijah and Harry to uphold those kind of views and run away with them because they have something that mere mortals like myself and most of you watching don't have. They have something that outweighs the silliness of such spectacle. Fame, status, money. If you're a woman and attracted to Harry Styles, think about of a random Joe Schmo, average Joe, doing the same thing. You wouldn't have any positive reaction towards it. From a perspective of attraction, of course. Candace defends her point of view as she finds herself surrounded with something that opposes her beliefs, that opposes her ego investment. Don't get me wrong, I agree with her assessment. Now let me go back to that reason why we ridicule masculinity and why it's more common to criticize it compared to femininity. Masculinity is an enemy to globalization. Think of the role that masculinity played throughout the whole history and think of those duties that masculinity carried out. Are those duties still relevant today? No. Without a clear mission, masculinity becomes a ticking bomb. We waged wars, we killed, we hunted, we labored. The need for strong specimen was always high. Every tribe, every village, every new civilization needed workers and soldiers. At the same time, providing them with a guarantee for procreation, for continuation of the lineage, for having women and children. Not today. Today borders are wide open and everyone are welcome. The competition becomes aggressive, almost lethal, and many men end up on the losing end of this deal. And now that we have internet, we have a platform to voice our opinions and make a change happen. At least try or die trying. And as we more and more lose this need in typical macho masculine men, we have to do something with their energy. Otherwise, as I said before, it's a ticking bomb and you wouldn't want that explode in your face. To make men to follow the protocol, we sedate them, we feminize them and ridicule their biology every chance we get, and doing it from generation to generation, decades upon decades. It becomes ingrained in the social collective mind, where the upcoming generations are fostered within this system where they're very confused, don't understand their biology, their nature, assume the leadership of the social narrative, and become these gutless puppets without any integrity, almost to a point where they hate themselves for being who they are. There's no longer a need for massive amount of testosterone as we become more centralized, as the world experiences fewer wars, less violence, and as the big daddy government taking the role of world leadership. One big family and very few captains doing an outstanding job with the technology available at hand. Masculinity is a competition. It's an opposing force to a global family. Candace, unfortunately, won't succeed in bringing back those old days, those good old times. Although a collective dissatisfaction of men may change the game, we won't be able to bring back what was before. Also understand that this way might not be to your liking, but as the most optimal way for a global peace and cosmopolitan lifestyle with ever more increasing global population and living standards. There cannot be many roosters in a hen house. The point of this video is not to demonize any institutions, ideologies, or politicians. The point of this video is to make you aware. All we go through is a natural progression of humanity as a whole. The point of this video is to give you the tools. The point of whole channel is for you to acquire tools necessary for creating a great life. Embrace what you are and act accordingly. Transcend it for the higher purpose. Want to see videos on gender dynamics? Click here. There's a video on why we men and women are attracted to each other. Keep an eye for that one. But for now, Hossein out.